Hey you guys, anybody hear me? Can you hear me out there? You guys hear me? I don't know why like people be on and then nobody says anything. I think it's bots or stalkers, one or the other. You guys out there? Anybody hear me? Beautiful rainy night. Yeah, nah, it was not. It's coincidental, weird. You know, there have been times when I've been out on my road and I've been walking and it's getting dusk and I've walked right by my driveway because you can't see it. And that's the first time that I know of that somebody's driven down it. The thing that I thought was weird, first of all, you can hardly see it. And once you make that turn, there's no trespassing, do not come in here, all sorts of shit to read. And they were driving like kind of fast. Like they drove kind of fast all the way up to the house, which is, quite a ways from the road. Now the good news is they turned around right away and left, but it looked like they stopped out in front of this driveway, which is next to me, which is even weirder. But I went out there and looked, and nothing happened to my house. I'd have felt a lot better about it. But the guy that lives like near me, I can see you turning into my driveway instead of his. But if you did that, you wouldn't turn north to leave. You'd turn south. You'd realize that you went too far. So it's just like, like all things, right? It's coincidental. What the hell's this guy talking about, Kelly? I think you need to get rid of this guy. Yeah, thank you. No, it's just really weird. But anyway, yeah, I think the bottom line on the whole thing is, I mean, it's like water off a duck's back. I don't let stuff bother me too much. It's a discipline. It's hard to do. But it does bother me if I think I've hurt somebody's feelings or I've upset them when I didn't mean to. And even though, like I said, I don't like his boss never said anything to me about him. And that's what bothers me. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Weird. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, thanks for deleting that guy. Fucking weirdos. Yeah, so no big deal. But, I mean, the way I look at things is, you hope for a good outcome, and that isn't always possible. But, I've lived my whole life, and I've never really got in trouble. I'm not fucking stupid. But, you get pissed, and I think if you were, let's say you were a perfect mental specimen, you would wait until something actually physical happened before you would react the way that I do sometimes. Like the most rational, calm way of handling a thing, and I know I'm not good at that sometimes. But it's never caused me any trouble. Yeah, and I do have, believe me, we have tons of, I'm not into guns at all. We have like tons of guns here, except I was out on the porch, because I didn't get my router yet, doing my lives, so you didn't hear broken audio while I was trying to explain something. So I didn't have access to a gun. Callie, how you been feeling? It's so weird sometimes, like with chats. You can be having a chat, and there'll be a bunch of people on you're talking to, and everybody's having a good time, and like the internet will quit, and you come back, and like half the people are gone. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you never know. I mean, I didn't mean to be melodramatic. It's just I've never seen anybody turn into these driveways accidentally in 3 years, much less be like driving fast. And when if that incident hadn't happened tonight, I wouldn't have thought a thing about it. I mean, I still looked around and wondered, but you never know, particularly if you used to have a heroin problem. And what else? I'm not going up to Michigan around the holidays either. I was gonna, but I'm going to Hilton Head Saturday morning. The reason for that is, I'm going to get rid of this pickup pretty soon. That Land Rover quit. I'm not into cars or clothes. I'm not even into houses, to tell you the truth. And I want to get rid of this pickup, though, because I'm already over the luckiest guy in the world zone. But believe it or not, it doesn't bother me if I have a vehicle that I could take off tomorrow, make it all the way to Montana, and the engine seized, and I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd get a ride to the nearest town. I'd get an Uber or something to the biggest city where I could rent an enterprise rental car, and I'd drive home. It doesn't really bother me. I'd transfer all my shit. I might freeze my ass off somewhere for a night or wait a long time to do that, but I'm fine with it. To me, in my crazy logic, it's a new experience. I don't have a job. I don't have a wife that, I don't know what I'd do without. Matter of fact, it's the other way around. Fuck, I'd ship her out in 4 bald tires, no problem. And I don't have kids, so I don't really care as an adult male if I get stranded. But anyway, I'm going to get rid of this truck. I've looked around, but I just haven't found anything. Well, here's the issue. That truck needs new tires. And, there's all weather and there's all season. Well, if you look at the weather forecast through New Year's Eve, it's forecast to be warm up there. In other words, there shouldn't be any ice or snow. But from the time that I leave here, and once I get up around Gatlinburg, about 180 miles north, I stand a chance, if there's going to be inclement weather, all the way to my destination, which is 940 miles, which normally I wouldn't care about. So I don't want to go up there with the tires that I have now, and I don't want to buy new tires for it. Because if I did, they'd be all season, not all weather. They'd be tires manufactured for summer wear, which last a lot longer. Winter tires in warmer weather or all weather tires wear quicker because they just can't be as stiff as the other rubber. So that's one reason. And the second reason is other people's schedules. And the third reason is, I'm still working on organizing my house. And the fourth reason is I don't want to stick Marty with Daisy, even though, they'd take Daisy to a wedding with him if they thought it was going to inconvenience me. And I know they're like that. So you can never really tell if Daisy staying here while I'm gone for a week is inconvenient or not. Yeah. No, their weather up there is crazy. I mean, they froze their ass off last week, like 23, and I think it was 47 today or something up there, which was in Michigan, got record snow about a week and a half ago, up not far from where I live. Matter of fact, Gaylord got an all-time record, which is insane. That's like the snow belt. So for all those reasons, I'm not going. I'm just going to hang around here. I think I'm like a loner guy anyway. Be honest with you, even with that, when I had girlfriends or was married, I always spent like Christmas and stuff alone. Just like, it's not a problem. I'm not getting sentimental on the holidays. And same with New Year's Eve. I haven't had a drink since the end of April. And I have realized that what I thought caused my stomach problems was not alcohol, but I'm not going back to drinking. Not that I had a problem with it, but honestly, any drinking's bad. Any way you argue it. And I'm getting in shape, and you can probably get away with that better when you're younger. So I'm just not going to do it. So I'll work out down here. I just got 300 more extra pounds of weight. I don't know how these places make money on these weights. I mean, try shipping 300 pounds somewhere and see what it costs you. I got 300 pounds extra weights, for stuff that I already have. Powder coated, an Olympic 7-foot bar, all sorts of plates, 2 collars for $249. You couldn't ship 300 pounds like that. Now I know they bring a truckload and all that kind of stuff, but I'm telling you, delivering sets of weights and selling them you go on Craigslist, Facebook, it's $1.50 to $2 a pound for weights used. I mean, I don't know how they do it. Hey, Eric. No, West Branch didn't, but Gaylord did. Gaylord did. Oh, hell yeah, that's a good deal. You telling me? And it's like good weights, too. I mean, like I said, they're power coated, and they've got the handle on them, so they're made bigger, so you can, grab them like you were, picking up a suitcase. Fuck, it's perfect. I'm going to get a few more things, Smith machines. I'm not a big bench presser guy. And at this stage of my life, I was really into weightlifting like most of my life. But at this stage of my life, my goal is to be the maximum strength for the minimum weight. That's what I want to be, like my maximum strength for the minimum weight. I don't want my legs getting any bigger. I don't want a bigger chest. I just want to be in good cardiovascular shape. No fat. I'm in jeans now that I wore in high school. Yeah, I don't really want. There's genetics are involved in working out, right? Your strong points and your weak points. And I don't think I could have ever been a bodybuilder or anything like that, but I do think that, my weak points, I don't think I never had. I always looked a lot stronger than I really was. Where it seems like with the real power lifters and bodybuilders, they look like they're strong, and they are really strong. It's true, bodybuilders don't jack up the weights that powerlifters do. It's a different kind of training, but they're still strong as hell. If you look at comparing their mass as opposed to their strength, it's nowhere near a powerlifter. My buddy up in West Branch had a brother that was 126 pounds benching 350. That's unfucking real. When I weighed 240, the most I ever benched was 270, which is nothing for that weight. Yeah, right. That's not that lady who divorced a farmer, is it? I think I know who you're talking about. Is she in the medical field? Yeah, there's a girl from West Branch that got divorced a couple years ago that's starting to look like a guy. Yeah, I never messed around with steroids, but I'll tell you a funny steroid story. So I'm going to college, lifting weights all the time, and I had done it before then. Like was into it. And when I was going to school, there were about maybe 5 guys that I knew that were just fucking jacked. I mean, these fuckers looked like they would be in a bodybuilding magazine. And I knew them, and I didn't work out with them because it's a whole other thing, and they're always eating egg whites and all this fucking bullshit, and they're always keeping their mouth shut, and they're always telling me about protein powder and all this bullshit. And I looked okay, but nothing like that. So after I got to know him well, the one guy said to me one day, he said, "Hey, look in that bag over there." And I looked in the bag, and it was a grocery shopping bag full of steroids, Diana Ball, Deca, bunch of syringes. He said, "You know what that is, don't you?" It's like, "Yeah, steroids." He said, I can get you a supply of that for about $80 a month, and you'll be huge in 9 months if you follow a good eating regimen as well." It's like, I thought about it, because here you are, you're trying to look like that, and they're taking them, but you don't really know anybody that's doing it, and they look okay. It doesn't look like it's killing them, but like even to this day, I never smoked marijuana. So I thought about it, and I thought, nah, I don't think I'll do it. So this guy was a Jewish guy, going to a Mickey Mouse college like I went to, and he's fucking around with some biology degree. I think he was a bisexual son of a bitch too. I always got that vibe. He was a good-looking guy. He had cute girlfriends, but he always seemed like he kind of liked guys. I found that out later that he did. So about 10 years later, my wife is working as a therapist down in downtown Detroit, and she knew him too. Actually, I was introduced to him through her, through, I don't know, classes or friends or some shit. She's down there working as a therapist in this hospital and runs into this guy. He's a fucking medical doctor, an MD, working emergency. I couldn't fucking believe it. She calls me at her lunch hour and she said, "You're never going to guess who I ran into." It's like, "Who?" And she said, "Steve." I said, "Where?" She said, "At the hospital, Detroit Receiving." I said, "What's he doing?" She said, "He's a doctor." As it turns out, another smart Jew. He fucked around in high school, and then he ended up going to the same college I did. And he ended up getting into a Caribbean medical school. Now, there's some things that can happen down there. And what happened there was, you can go to a Caribbean medical school and you can get out and you can't get a residency. And that happens to a lot of guys. You'll see guys like that. They're medical directors for hospice and shit. They can still do some health-related fields related to medicine. But if you never get a residency, you can never see patients. But you can be an administrator. It's weird. Well, he had a rich Jewish uncle that owned a chain of grocery stores. Financed him, sent him to all the Stanley Kaplan prep schools. Ended up getting a good grade on the MCAT. Well, if you can get a good score on the MCAT, a really good score, and he probably did. He was a smart Jew, and he had a lot of resources. That kind of, in certain instances with good recommendations, can trump mediocre grades from a Mickey Mouse school. Plus, he was Jewish, and his family had Jewish connections, so I'm sure he got great letters of recommendation. But he went down to Haiti or Grenada or one of those places, and he ended up getting a medical residency in Ohio and another specialty residency in Michigan, and was a fucking MD for 35 years. And that was the guy that tried to sell me the steroids. And you could tell by looking at him, even after he was an MD, that he was still taking them. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, really nuts. So you never know, you know? Yeah, it's a small world. Yeah. So that was the only experience that I ever had to consider, and I never did. But I used to go to, once in a while, I was living in Ann Arbor and Detroit, and once in a while I would go to Powerhouse Gym. Those were the Dabish brothers, Dabish. And that was a place, if you went there, it was in Highland Park, which was like a crappy neighborhood. And you could go in there any day of the week. And actually, Simur Banut, who was Mr. Olympia, worked out there. You could go in there any day of the week, and there were 10 guys working in there. Ron Love worked out there his whole career. You could go in there any day of the week, and there were 10 guys working in there that looked like they were Mr. America or Mr. Olympia. Now, Norm, the bigger brother, ended up getting convicted. Supposedly they had ties to the mob. He ended up getting convicted of blowing up a building where a janitor got killed. I think he got like 12 years in prison. And then Crystal, the sister, she ran the thing, and just out of nowhere, they just opened up like 500 powerhouse gyms. And then a lot of them closed, and then they had a clothing line, and I think Will's still around, but Will especially, I want to say they were Lebanese. I don't know for sure, but these guys were huge, man. Like 21-inch biceps, that kind of shit. I met, what the hell is his name? I met a couple boxers in there. I met Ron Love in there. Who else went in there? Oh, Hector Camacho was in there training one time. He was having a fight in Detroit, was doing something up there with a therapist. I don't even know if Powerhouse is still around. It probably is. But I know they kind of went from rags to riches, and I think rags again, but I'm not sure because I was in Florida for a while, and I know in a lot of other places that the places I knew they had franchises, they'd closed. What's that, April? No, this was a Hamtramck, or Highland Park, Michigan. No, West Branch does have a pretty good weightlifting gym. No, I was a member there for a couple of years. It's right down there, like kitty corner across from the Dairy Queen. Real religious guy owns it, Bible thumper. He doesn't want any swearing or any of that kind of stuff. He's a nice guy, hell of a nice guy. His dad was a big shot at the bank and retired. Really good guy. Yeah, you're right, Shane. No, it's a good one though. Yeah, Dan something. Yeah, he's a hell of a nice guy. Yeah, he really is. Yep. Dan, yeah. What is her last name? The dad was a good basketball player in high school. He was a big shot at the bank. Dan, yeah. Yep, you're right. How long you been, I'd have used you to sell my condo. I ended up selling it myself, but I didn't have a problem with the realtor. I bet you know Pam McPhee, don't you? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it, Eric. You know Pam McPhee? Oh, you could get him, April. You could get a good spotter. That's no problem. Yeah, Dan, nice guy. Yeah, she's a real. Do you know that Vicky that works for that place with the red and yellow signs all over the fucking place? They've been there forever. What's the name of that big real estate company? Down there near Max. Yeah, Greg Morris. Yeah, that's who Pam McPhee works for, Greg Morris. But so does Vicky. Do you know her? But Pam had full billboards up for a long time on 75 and in West Branch. You got to know her. I don't remember seeing your name up there in West Branch. This was like I haven't been up there for 3 years. But did you just get into real estate? Hey Cheryl, how you doing? Yeah, I'm living in Georgia now. 3 years this April. I moved down here. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, what is his first name, Eric? Your dad's first name. So you know LaDonna Schultz, don't you? Yeah, it's a beautiful night here. Actually, I'm going to read till probably midnight out of my couch. 66 degrees and a heavy rain. Love this weather. Yeah, Chapman. Mark Chapman. God, that name rings a bell. That's West Branch Post, right? Oh, I know. You know the fun. You know my sister got that McDonald's in 1978, right there near the 212 exit. And when I first started going up there, which is when the store opened, nothing. They had a Kmart there though that event. Who I knew, the Gary Rossi. He ended up dying about 10 years ago. And none of that other stuff. Home Depot. And what surprised me is, she owned that lot between Tim Hortons and McDonald's. And you'd have thought all those years that was for sale, that somebody would have built something on there and developed it. Like look what they did with that place next to Big Boy, the crappy hamburger place, Rallies. And here, all those years when the economy was good, everybody was making a fortune. Nobody does anything, and then all of a sudden, different grocery chains come in, a sporting goods store, Home Depot, a Myers. That was a rumor for years. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. Oh, okay. Yeah, West Branch has changed. Excuse me. It's a lot. It's a lot like a lot of places in the country now, where nowhere is cheap. Those days of the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s where the factory workers moved up to West Branch to retire. Hell, it's as expensive to live in West Branch now as it is where you lived when you worked full time. Yeah, yeah, Greg Rossi. Yeah, he died about 10 years ago. Yeah, he managed the Kmart. Yeah, Coils. Yeah, I remember Coils. Did you know Ray King, the probate judge? Okay, April. You won't have a problem finding a spotter. Yeah, West Branch. Do you remember when the guy who owned the West Branch newspaper's wife was found murdered? Were you up there then? Oh, okay. Yeah, I bet you. How old are you, Eric? I bet you don't remember. You remember Frank Alley's Pickin' Chicken, where you could get chicken livers? Hey, Super Dougie. Oh, okay. Did you graduate from Ogama Heights then? Oh, okay. Did you know that blonde up there that was a physician's assistant? She was married to a guy and divorced him. They owned a farm. Big blonde. She was always working out at Dan's gym. Did you know her? Oh, it's crazy, Shane. Nuts, man. I don't know how people make it. I know people who have their houses paid for and they can't afford the taxes because they're on a limited income from being retired. Fucking nuts. San Diego, I stayed for I was supposed to be jailed because I got sued by a judge working as a PI. and I got an emergency stay where they couldn't jail me, and so I was allowed to have a honeymoon. And we got on a cheap airfare and went out to Hotel Del Coronado in San Diego. You ever been there? That's the most I ever paid for a hotel in my life. I think this was 1986, and it was $350 for a night. And I remember the hallways and stuff smelled like a mildew. I thought it was a big ripoff. Yeah, well, the husband died, Tony, Eric. You ran into Olivia or whatever her name is. And the old owner, she's actually running that Mexican restaurant for her brother-in-law, I think. Yeah, Tony died when they owned the Willow Tree. Oh, Fred and Julie? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Fred and Julie. Yeah, I know who they are. You're talking about, the fuck is his last name? Yeah, they got a couple kids. The one kid's is selling cars now, and the other one's got a good job with Maytag out in the west side of the state. Yeah, that's right, the original owners. Yep. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, what is his name? Fred. I can't think of his last name. He's got that real cheap hairpiece. Yeah, now it's that Mexican restaurant. Those were the second owners, you're right. And now the third is really partially the second, the wife. And I think that's her brother-in-law. Roberto's, yeah, that's right, yeah. I mean, if you're friends with the guy, tell him, I mean, that's like something you wore as Frank Sinatra in 1945. I mean, I've seen I've seen better hair pieces on the side of the road. No, Callie, you'd have to see it to appreciate it. Has he ever played the accordion for you, Eric? Hey, Frisky. Did he ever play the accordion for you? And then he came out of retirement and opened that place down there, down around Saginaw or Bay City, where they sold fish and chips. Yeah, they really are. Oh, okay. Sullivan's, yeah, that's right. Yep. That's it, yeah. I mean, you can get all that stuff cheap now. Really, like, they've come a long way with that. Do you know the Suns, too? I guess that kid, the one, I forget their name, Shelton and somebody else. I guess the one that used to work for Best Buy, I guess he's selling cars, supposedly doing pretty well. Do you know the people that own the GM dealership there, the helicopter guy? Oh, Matt, okay. Yeah, I forget their name too, man. I think I'm getting dementia. And how about Brian's burning down? What's your take on that? Sweet Georgia peach. I'm not a big peach fan. You know, it's funny. I think I'm a little too far north for the peaches. But even when I travel around the state or I go down to Florida, I don't see too many peaches, like in buckets and stuff. I went to the Valdalia Onion Festival, and I just picked up some pecans for somebody on my way down around Macon. I think it was down around Macon, maybe south of there. But I don't see those for sale too much either. It's weird. I think I'm a little, and I know I'm just barely a little too north of cotton. Who knows? Who knows what happened? The last thing I heard was that he used an unlicensed electrician that caught it on fire while he was there. What a perfect time to burn down, though, right before Myers, huh? But who knows? We'll never know what happened. I like Brian's, actually, but I mean, I don't know. He didn't have any problem, messing around with Aldi's or Walmart and that, what's that meat shop that's halfway between West Branch, Narski's? He made them move. That was about the only, and there's a place down in Standish, but I like their meat and all that stuff they had. I thought it was good. Their fruit and vegetables. I used to go there all the time. He doesn't exactly have the best reputation in the world, though. He wants some crazy dollar amount for that lot. And I wonder how that Dairy Queen's doing. You know, those poor people, that son got killed, on a four-wheeler. And right after they bought that Dairy Queen, that damn COVID hit. Did you know any of the managers of Home Depot? Yeah, no comment. You're smart. You got to live there. That's a good way to answer. Yeah, I don't know what it stands for. It's got to be something related to cheap prices. Oh, thank you, Frank. You didn't have to do that. How you doing? Yeah, West Branch, they're filled to the rumor mill. They got it all going on there. Murders, uh, preachers screwing young underage girls while they're counseling them, state troopers shooting themselves in the foot while drunk and arguing with their wife. You name it. Lake Ogama lesbians. Oh, okay. Yeah, all these towns, did you know the people that own the little coffee shop there in the bank parking lot? Stone House or something like that? Stone something. Oh, thank you, Frank. Where are you living now, Eric? I mean, if you're a young person, you got to get out of there. Yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right. Yep. I like that lady that runs that place. I like her. And they always had cute girls working there, too. That one lieutenant or road sergeant, his wife works there. She's really nice. So's her mother, and so are both daughters. I can hear a freight train going down the tracks. You don't hear too many of them around here. That's right, Shane. Eric, did you know any of the Lizots? Can you hear this rain coming down? Lezotts. That's how it's pronounced, so yeah. Yeah, McDonald's people, yep. Oh, yeah, it really is buckets. You're right, Shane. Sure is. You know, this damn chat thing isn't showing the time like it usually does. Maybe it doesn't on the vertical mode. Hey, hey, I just figured out who the car was driving down my driveway. Amazon with my new router that wasn't supposed to get delivered till tomorrow. An Amazon, you know how they're hiring people in cars? It was an Amazon delivery. I just got a thing saying that my order's on hold. And they tried a delivery at 6:18, the same time the car pulled in. Yeah, isn't that weird, huh? Crazy. No, I'm smarter than that, but I would have. Yeah. You know, it pisses me off because it said it wasn't coming till Wednesday. Yeah, I know. Yeah. God. Yeah. She's still there. I still got the gun. God. Yeah. Yeah, the prosecutor, they'd gather all the evidence. You know, they'd get Michelle with one of those makeovers on TV. That she was just a struggling woman driving 650 miles to make a delivery. I was just this crazed lunatic with a huge porn collection that murdered her by mistaken identity, and I get like 1,000 years in jail. Don't worry, Stephanie. We'd have called you as a witness. You know, to be honest with you, man, I wouldn't have answered that damn door if I'd have heard somebody knocking. Not at this time at night when it was supposed. Nobody's ever come down my driveway, ever. Yeah, right, golly. Yeah. They'd take like 12,000 pictures of the router and match it with my order. You know, they put it on a big screen. I would look like the biggest bad guy ever. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You know, they got your fucking email and your phone number. Why the hell don't they call you and say, hey, I know it's late. We're on our way. It's like, oh, thanks for calling. I'd have been there waiting. I need the fucking thing. And I don't really know what on hold means. Does that mean that I get it sometime in February? Why don't they say another delivery will be attempted tomorrow? They're not my cats. The one cat was missing 9 years. The other one they've had about a year and a half. The black one is a wild feral cat around here. That's all Marty's. Oh, delivered till 10? I never knew that. And it makes sense why they drove deliberately in there. I thought, man, this is really weird. It wasn't like somebody going down the wrong address, you know? Well, it was a house I used to live in. It's Marty's. No, this is an $800 router. I'm sure they didn't want to just leave it out there, you know? I mean, maybe it is around there. I didn't see it, though. I wish it was. But I doubt they'd have sent me a follow-up thing. It was on hold. Well, I think I'm going to sign off here, you guys. Appreciate you talking, chatting. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good day tomorrow. I was looking forward to a live tomorrow from my house, but maybe not if they don't try that. Does anybody know, like, when they don't find you on the first shipping attempt, how do they work that? Do they automatically come again, or do I got to call them, or what? No, he's running around. Good night, Callie. Oh, they will? Okay, good, thanks. All right, well, have a good night, you guys. See you, Frisky, Shane, Eric. Anybody else out there? Oh, he's around here all the time. Yeah, he's been here the whole time I've lived here. Oh, Amazon? Yeah, I'm going to call him right now then. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. All right, thanks a lot, you guys. Have a good night.